It's way past bedtime for the rest of the world. Welcome to the Late Night Sew with Candice Ayala.
Okay, so today we're talking to Ashley Snipes, who's also one of our season 2 contestants for the Upcycling Challenge. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for talking to me today.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
No worries. So we're going to be this series of podcast is going to be all about upcycling. So we're going to jump right into it. And I want to know, when did sewing find you?
So sewing really found me at a really young age. My grandmother had a sewing room, and I was 4 years old, and she'd let me go in and explore. We'd even go camping, and I'd have out like my plastic canvas with yarn, learning how to hand sew.
Oh, wow.
So she let me she kind of let me loose and learn very early how to sew.
So you started at 4, and that continued through?
Yeah, I started as a kid, and I loved it. And she had the patience, I'm telling you, of a saint, because she would let me just go crazy in her sewing room and use any scraps or anything she had. And I learned. And then in school, I always took home ec classes and things just because I loved it.
Oh, awesome.
And I was always creative. Yeah, I love to make things and sew and create as a child. And it lasted all the way through now with my kids.
So when did you start upcycling?
So I would say probably around middle school time. My great-grandmother, she lived right next to a thrift store in her building. So I thought I was such an adult. She let me get on the elevator by myself and go over to the thrift store, and I would find all these really cool pieces. And I was only 11, so a lot of those vintage pieces and things weren't my size. So I would buy these things, and then I would take them home and try to customize them. And we didn't have a lot of money anyway, so it was nice because I could make these outfits and wear them to school, and everybody would ask me where I got my clothes. And back then, you'd be embarrassed. Oh yeah, you'd be embarrassed to tell them, hey, I got it at the thrift store. But I love it these days. It's a pretty cool thing, and I'm proud of it now.
From the little that I know of your backstory, I can tell that upcycling is kind of significant, but how has it been significant to your sewing journey in particular?
For me, it's a very nostalgic thing because not only my grandmother being at the thrift store, but my parents separated when I was young, and my time with my dad, it was always spent going to flea markets and antique shops and auctions and yard sales. It was like our Saturday ritual. He would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he would go to get his coffee and newspaper, and he'd tell us if we weren't ready when he came back. So we weren't going. So we would hurry up and get ready, and we would go to these flea markets and find all these things. And that's when I really fell in love with textiles and older tablecloths and handwork that people made, just seeing it and appreciating the beauty of all these things that people made. And that has inspired me to use all that stuff in my journey as I sew. I like to take those pretty textiles that you can't find in a regular store.
So it's like memorabilia and nostalgic for you.
Oh yeah.
So
totally nostalgic.
So you started upcycling at 11. So that upcycling is not challenging for you as it is for most people who are trying to start now. But has there been anything you've discovered on your journey that has made upcycling easier for you now than when you first started?
I think the biggest challenge that I've faced with upcycling is having the heart to cut things up. I'm always nervous. Like, I find these pieces and I can see what I want to do with it, but also I can see the beauty and the ugly thing that I'm buying. So it took me a long time to have the heart to like cut the things up and start making it different. That's been the hardest thing for me.
I can relate to that because it's not like fabric where you make a mistake and then you can just go back and buy some more fabric. You know, you only have that one piece. What made you join the upcycling challenge this year?
Well, for me, I love a challenge anyway. I love being competitive and things like that, but it inspires me to see others work. And I think looking at last year's challenge, watching everybody work and inspiring each other with what they made, I wanted to be a part of that. And I'm very honored to be a part of that because everybody along the way, just so far, I've seen so many inspiring little bits, and I feel like I'm learning a lot from it. So that was like the main goal for me, was to learn and be inspired and find some new techniques.
Awesome. I'm glad you're here. So tell us though, where can we find you online and learn more about your journey?
Okay. So it took me a while to understand a lot of social media. So Instagram is the best place at Shabina Boo. And then I have started a blog. It's chabinaboo.com, CHUBINABOO.com. It's my daughter's nicknames, and you can kind of find a backstory on that on the blog if you wonder what the Chabinaboo stands for.
Oh, well, you can tell us right now if you want to get into it. We have time.
Yeah. So my oldest daughter, her name is Cherish, and when she was younger, actually in my belly still, we called her Chubby for whatever reason. That was like the nickname we had. And as she grew, I didn't want to call her that, so it turned into Cherry, and then it was Chubby, and then it turned into Chabina for whatever reason. So we call her Chabina. And then our second daughter, her nickname was Boo.
Aww.
So when I started, my creative boutique and sewing journey, I only had those two girls. So that was the name of my business. And I have 2 new babies since then. So we're going to have to incorporate their names eventually.
Okay. So you do have a sewing business.
Yeah. I have a small boutique. I do women's, kids, accessories, household things. My vision for my boutique was my kids aren't the normal size at the store, which most people aren't. And I wanted a place where people could feel beautiful. So I wanted a place where they could come in, get measured, and have a custom outfit made completely to their personality and their style so they could feel beautiful.
I love that. And I think that's pretty much why everyone sews, though, because they're not happy with what they're finding and buying from the stores. So yeah.
It is, and it's a heartbreaking journey. It's heartbreaking when you go into a store and you find something you think you love and then you try it on and it just like defeats you. And I don't want people to have that feeling. So I wanted to be able to inspire. And some kids are into different things. Like some little girls love monster trucks or they love superheroes, and you can't necessarily find, girly outfits with those things on it. So I wanted to be able to create that for them.
Absolutely. I know that all too well. With Abigail, her ideals change, her likes change every other week, and it's fun being a part of their growing process and being able to help them express themselves that way. So thank you so much for talking with us today and telling us a little bit about your journey.
Thank you.